overlooked by England, and then he emigrated. Like South Africa, their top order's been short of runs though. Nathan Astle with just 42 in 6 matches to date. Well, Hansi Cronje won the toss for the South Africans and decided to bat, and will join it in the 6th over. Dion Nash is bowling to Gary Kirsten, and our commentary team is Chris Broad, Colin Croft, Jeremy Coney, Barry Richards and Jack Bannister. It's 12 without loss.
Great shot. First shot of authority from Gary Kirsten, just drifting into the pads. Dion Nash. And Kirsten deciding to go over the top. Picked it up quite beautifully. Just hit it with the swing. Chipped it over mid-wicket. Through again. Suddenly it's all clicking into place for Gary Kirsten. Second 4 of the over for him.
Waiting.
Oh, well fielded. Chris Harris at backward point. Well, he's either got a very big toe or he needs to rearrange his sock. Just poking out the end of his boot. Oh, lovely shot, and again a good bit of fielding by Harris. Well, that's twice in 2 overs he's pulled off very good stops.
Chris Harris has become invaluable to New Zealand immediately this morning, again saving 2 runs at least, and the return brilliant.
A slower ball, and Gary Kirsten picked it quite beautifully, also picked the gap. Oh, good running here, or it could be close. Oh, Herschel Gibbs is very quick, but Jeff Allett had a start on him with the follow-through. Unfortunately for Allett, he missed the stumps.
Jeff Allett was already running when Herschel Gibbs shouted yes. Gary Kirsten is not sure, but he reacts, and I think that you will see that Allett gets to the ball before, and that would have been out had he hit it directly.
Chris Cairns from the City end. Beautiful shot. Herschel Gibbs, not quite to the pitch of the ball, it wasn't really a half volley, but he hit through the line and it raced to the boundary. Oh, it's in the air, but perfectly placed. Well, the lesser pace of Gavin Larson almost bringing the downfall of Gary Kirsten there. So 50 up for South Africa. It's come in the 14th over. Edged and just short. Stephen Fleming, the New Zealand captain, is in there. And it was a genuine edge.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful shot. Lovely timing. Got on the tip of his toes and just punched the ball away through the offside. So plenty of batting to come. Jacques Kallis, who's been in fine form in this competition, Darryl Cullinan, Hansi Cronje, John T. Rhodes, Sean Pollock, all well-known names to English viewers. Well, that's an interesting shot. It was an attempted sweep, premeditated, I feel. And Gary Kirsten just getting a top edge, which very nearly went up into his face, but it was over the keeper's head. And 4 runs. And up and over the top, Gary Kirsten. and into the boundary. Well, he certainly connected well with that one.
Yeah.
Unlucky. Or could have been lucky if that had hit. This stolen overthrow could have been fatal. That's why it was taken. But it was a late takeoff. And a hit here. Well, who knows? Larson to Kirsten. Well, it was nicely played, but really he was given the line to do it from, because with Ford in the ring offside, the last thing he wanted was to go leg side, and it's cost him 4.
Last 5 overs for 31 runs. Well, it's not that the bowling's been bad, it's just the singles on offering.
5th New Zealand bowler tried, Chris Harris. Again the sweep. This was from around about middle and off, so took a bit of a risk. There was some pad there, but he thought it was before bat. Brings the 100 up. That's only the second 100 opening partnership in this tournament, and the other one also to South Africa. That was against England.
Well, does this hit the pad first? Hits the top of the pad.
.50 for Kirsten. First one of the tournament.
Harris to Herschel Gibbs, and that's a full toss, and Gibbs making it quite comfortably out onto the offside. He'll pick 2 runs up here, and this opening partnership is the highest of the competition so far, beating the 111 South Africa made against England at the Oval. Nash to Gibbs, and beautifully struck. Well, that was 4 as soon as it left the bat. Adam Larson was the fielder out at point, and it brings up Herschel Gibbs 50. On with this next one as well, short from Dion Nash, and Gibbs into a very good position, pulling it away over mid-wicket. He really is in good touch.
Very ordinary bowling. Try to bowl a slower delivery there, roll the fingers around it. Dion Nash, no control. Herschel Gibbs easily put that one away, so successive 4s, and the scoring rate really is accelerating now.
4 more. The 3rd in a row. And really, Dion Nash doesn't know where to bowl to Herschel Gibbs at this moment. They've all been genuine shots, and they've all been put away quite superbly.
Very good scoring rate, starting to accelerate. If you apply the equation of doubling it after 30, South Africa are on for 280.
Still to Gibbs, down the wicket, and this might well have just come off pad, but it's well, that's a wonderful bit of fielding by Chris Cairns down the boundary. Leg byes has been signalled.
Terrific piece of fielding.
Oh, that's good running between the wickets. Pressure was put on Chris Cairns by Herschel Gibbs, running the first run quickly, and Cairns fumbled which allowed the second.
Yes, just took his eye off it for a minute and gave Herschel Gibbs, who's very quick between the wickets, to get back. It would have been interesting if he'd hit. I think he was in.
And a reverse sweep brings up the 150 for South Africa. Oh, I've seen some reverse sweeps in my time, but that's a most unusual shot.
Never a dull moment. Bob Warner invention, the reverse sweep. Plenty of time. The bowling of Chris Harris, very, very medium pace, and the switch of the hands and completely the other way, and he's got away with it. Not straight off the middle. Give the bowler something to think about that.
Well, not much is going right for New Zealand at the moment. A bottom edge, which could have gone anywhere.
They've kept control of the boundaries. There's only been 11 fours hit so far. Into the big one. All the way. First 6 of the innings, and Kirsten's really announced himself there. He's had more of the strike, but he's also used it well. None better than with that shot.
Well, just in the slot here, I could have gotten hold of it very well, but it was a little bit square that perhaps he expected, but maximum nonetheless.
We're looking for 2. Gibbs is quick.
South Africa's leading one-day international run scorers, and Gary Kirsten just second to Hansi Cronje.
Another great shot. That was all hand and eye. And another 4 for Gibbs. It's his 6th. Larson from the city end to Gibbs. Careless, absolutely careless, because there was no possible chance of a run out. All he's done is show the strength of his arm at the cost of a run, and he knows it. There goes the sweep, and there he's out. Well, Astor's earned that, if only by virtue of the 2 drop balls that started it all off. And finally success for New Zealand, with Gary Kirsten having played a splendid innings and set up a great launching pad going out to this sort of sweep shot. And he's gone for 82 and 176 for 1 in the 37th.
Wow, what do we do with this guy? 210 runs already. Obvious reason that he must accelerate things.
Last time he was out was caught by Roger Toos off the bowling of Jeff Allett, and that was over 4 months ago. Since set up an all-time record in one-day internationals. Soon off the mark because these are short. Clock
4. So Lance Klusener already has his eye in. This is his 2nd delivery. A straight drive. Probably didn't hit it as hard as he wanted. The international might have just gotten a hand to it, but it ends up as 4.
Well, that's a wonderful hit, and it's 6. All hand and eye coordination, and that is the real strength of Herschel Gibbs.
Gavin Larson has not done very much wrong here, but Herschel Gibbs just steps into it, a flick of the wrist, timing perfect, and it's deposited over square leg.
saw at Old Trafford with Moin Khan that nothing can go on forever, and as he went, the other batting destroyer in this tournament, so has Lance Klusener. Gone for just one scoring shot for 4, bowled by Larson, and now 187 for 2 in the 38th.
And nothing lasts forever. Moving from number 7, 8 to number 3 did not work for Lance Klusener. A big gate between bat and pad, and Gavin Larson gets some success. If he moves the top, the off stump and the off bail, Lance Klusener is bowled. 187 for 2.
New batsman is Jacques Kallis. Suddenly it's all starting to happen, and you'd hesitate to say that this is a South African innings that could go wrong, because it won't, but nevertheless they're looking for somewhere near 300, and nothing like a couple of wickets to slow things down and perk up the fielding side. So Harris from the pavilion end to Kallis. There, erring in length. It's costume 3. Brings up for 200 and takes Kallis into double figures.
Well, we haven't seen too much indifferent bounce from this pitch, but that one certainly didn't bounce very much. To Kallis, bowled right in the block hole. There's not much any batsman can do with a delivery such as that. South Africa just past the 200, and Jacques Kallis climbing into Chris Harris here, deciding the slog sweep is the shot to the lack of pace of Chris Harris, and he connected very well.
Well, bat speed here, look at the advance for a start, the charge of the light brigade, and then that's why it's so far in front of square. It's a lack of pace and also about off stump. Hasn't really connected it.
Well, this is up in the air, this is coming towards the commentary box here, and 6 runs. 2 deliveries by Chris Harris in this over, 1-4, 1-6.
Well, co-commentator Broad has gone a rather sallow colour here as this comes towards us. This is a much better connection from Kallis.
Nice, H. Great work, Desha.
Well, that's well stopped, but it could provide South Africa with 2 runs, and indeed does. The running between the wickets has been excellent today by the South African batsman. Harris to Kallis, and again he's gone for a big one, and this really is a big one. It's hit the top of the commentary box and has bounced out the ground. So he's just had a sighter, and he's made it count.
Well, this is a little unusual. I would have thought that Kallis would have been the anchor man and it would be up to Herschel Gibbs, who certainly while he's getting close to 100 to keep the 4s ticking over. But it's Jacques Kallis there, you can see all the even numbers. I'll look after this end. You're taking it nicely at the other end.
Nice, Harry.
So just the 19 runs off that Chris Harris over. Gibbs for a very good 91, and Jeff Allen now becomes the highest wicket taker in World Cup cricket with 19, and he deserves the pats on the back that his teammates are giving him.
Well, and what a one to get to. They're just length, and Gibbs unable to get down on that.
is the batsman coming into the crease. Just 6 overs remaining. Cairns to Cullinan. No real time to play himself in there, Daryl Cullinan. Having a swish at the first ball. Oh, a bold under chance and well caught by Chris Cairns. That very good slower delivery that he has in his repertoire has fooled Daryl Cullinan. And just lobbed up tantalisingly in front of Chris Cairns. Very good catch.
Well, deceived by pace or lack of it early on in his innings, Cullinan's just pushed forward a little too far, and Cairns, seeing it was tantalising, he's taken a good catch, caught and bowled, landing a little heavily on the strip beside him. Pleased with that. Cullinan out for 0, 229 for 4.
Hansi Cronje, the South African captain. Was not bothering playing himself in. A couple of paces down the pitch, and he's just deposited the ball. 1 bounce for 4. Nash to Cronje, and again down the wicket, again over extra cover, and ultimately the same result. 4 more to the South African total. Cronje backing away, they'll look for 2 and they'll make it quite comfortably. 250 up for South Africa, the loss of 4 wickets. It's been a very entertaining innings so far. To Cronje, and he's gone for this. It's a no ball, and it's gone into the crowd for 6. So an expensive miss by Chris Cairns.
Cronje checking it's a no ball. This is a bit of cricket vandalism, really. Overstepping and having that departing near the lampshades.
To Cronje is short, and he's got the same treatment. 6 more. Oh, 2 great shots from Hansi Cronje. Not great thinking from Chris Cairns. Should have kept the ball up in the block hole.
One thing you can't do is drag it down short. Look, that's given Cronje the time to swing the arms freely.
Jacques Kallis is getting in on the act here now. He's adding to the total. That's a wonderful 6, probably the biggest of the over. And the South African supporters are loving it. That man's not. 24 runs off this Chris Cairns over.
Well, here's the 3rd 6. It just shows you that just a little bit shorter in length, a wee bit wayward, and that's the response at this time of the innings. That's well back.
In the last 3 overs, 36 runs to the South African cause. And again, a good run. They're coming back for 2, and that's out. Well, no need to call for the 3rd umpire there. Dion Nash is the fielder, and Hansi Cronje sees the funny side of it. He had to go for it. They really have to try and get as many runs as they can here, South Africa. It was a good bit of fielding.
Not long boundaries straight here. Nash has got in quickly. You could hear the cry of shoot from the bowler, and he's got a direct hit on the short. Nash was in quickly and throwing on the run. A good view of 3 stumps.
Well, John T. Rhodes has just come in. He is very fast, but the throw into Kallis' end, and Jacques Kallis showing a turn of speed as well. He makes 50. And again, it's been a wonderful knock from Jacques Kallis with some big hitting. So South Africa's last ball. And again, Jonty Rhodes is very, very quick down to the striker's end. He's back for two. The throws come to Jacques Kallis' end, but he's home. And the innings has finished. 287 for 5, South Africa, off their full 50 overs. And the crowd standing to their feet to applaud. Good entertainment here by the South African batsman.
Well, a real cameo innings from Kallis at the end, just what you need in a one-day match. His 53 off 36 balls, 93 off the last 10 overs. Kirsten and Gibbs opening stand the biggest of the competition so far. And if you took the 9-1 about Gavin Larson getting Lance Klusener out, well, you're counting your money now.